Thank you so much for watching, listening. Totally excited that you're here. And of course, I want you to subscribe. We have great content, great jokes. Not really.
You got that right.
But some of them are kind of funny. So, did you hear about the race between the lettuce and the tomato? The lettuce was ahead, and the tomato was trying to catch up. Just so you know, everybody in the room is also groaning with you.
Oh, brother. Stifle it.
You know, last week I asked you to answer the question, what is your favorite Jesus experience in the Gospels? And thinking about that, and a friend in the room said, hey, you ought to tell your own answer to that. And I think my favorite Jesus experience in the Gospels probably goes to, I don't know, I just always love the woman at the well, John chapter 4. You know, he shows up and he's like, woman, give me a drink of water, and she freaks out. I mean, that ensuing conversation just is astounding to me. So I love that. But if you didn't see last week's episode, make sure you go back and watch it, because you'll be like, what have I missed? Well, then you'll know. And again, these aren't long episodes, so it's easy to connect and engage. So we're going to finish our series, First Things First. And we've been looking at love and what that looks like for us on a personal level, but also through time. So we looked at love in the Old Testament. We see God's love in the word chesed, loving kindness. We looked at love in the New Testament with the Greek word agape, and we looked at that last week with Jesus and how Jesus loves us to the end. But I want to look into the future, right? So past, present, and future. And it's interesting because Jesus talks about the end times. And in Matthew 24, verse 12, this is what he says: because lawlessness is increased, most people's love will grow cold. I think that's really interesting to consider, because I think that there's a lot of lawlessness in our modern world. I was just talking with a friend today, and she was talking about some dude on an airplane. The flight attendant says, hey, you know, would you please put your seat back up? And he completely goes ballistic.
If I get angry with you, I punch you right in the nose. Is that right?
No.
And it's just like basic civility. You know, it feels like more and more, the longer we live, the more lawlessness is prevalent and like unbelievable, ridiculous stuff. Skip porch pirates. I mean, we're way past porch pirates. You're like, what's a porch pirate? You can Google it.
Good idea. Google it, the eBay, whatever it is.
But here's the deal, lawlessness. And I have to watch myself, because when I find people being lawless and the lack of civility and basic cordiality, just hello, thank you, please, that kind of stuff, I appreciate, or hold it, just basic stuff, I find myself getting cranky. And I find my love getting cold. I had a person confront me in a parking lot, basic civility. It was not a good confrontation, and I didn't respond well. My love was very, very cold, quite Arctic, if I'm really honest. I find my own love getting cold because of lawlessness. But I'm challenged. I'm challenged in my own soul, because I want to follow Jesus. I want to stay in love with Jesus. And I don't want the lawlessness around me to control the love in me, right? And I want for you and I to be aware, lawlessness, the lack of civility, all kinds of crazy things happening in our world. But as a follower of Jesus, coming back to John 13:35, as a follower of Jesus, people know that I follow Jesus by my love. And so staying in love with God and letting God love me in those really tense moments when I want to just jump out of my skin and crawl down somebody's throat and beat him to a bloody pulp. You're like, do you? Well, yeah, sometimes, you get a little bit amped up. But remember this, we love, 1 John 4:19, we love because he first loves us. And I said this earlier, when I struggle to love, usually that's an indication that I'm not letting God love me well. That I have separated, I've done, I'm kind of in my own, whatever. But when I'm not loving well, or when I want to go off the rails and be lawless, then it's a check myself moment. All right, God, how can I let you love me well now? How can I be available? How can I rest and settle in and let you love me now in this moment, in this time, in this space, in this experience? Let's be aware that we don't want the lawlessness that's around us to control the love that's in us. Let's let God continue to love in us as well as through us. So here's a question for you to consider. Answer this here in the comments right now. In what way do you best experience God loving you today, on this day? As you watch this, think about this day right now. As you watch, when have you experienced God or sensed God loving you on this day? Like, why are we? Because I want you to raise your awareness of God loving you, because God does love us. The loving kindness of God endures forever. So thank you so much for subscribing. Hit the notification bell right there. Keep you posted on new content. And the upcoming series that we have for you just next week is going to be phenomenal. You will love it. I'm really excited for you to watch. Thanks again for watching, listening, and subscribing.